Hello everyone and hello Urobo. Welcome to another beautiful episode of Urobocast right here at urobo.uk with Onos Shanoms. Firstly, I want to thank everyone that have taken time to listen to any of our podcasts. Thank you so very much. Without you, there will be any need for this particular podcast. I'm actually referring to you, my Robo people, those of you that have taken time. Even if you've listened for just a couple of minutes, that is something. Don't forget, this podcast is out there, is being brought out there because of you, the Robo people, my Robo community in the UK and in the diaspora. Now, I have said this before, but I'm going to say it again anyway. The essence of this podcast is to inform my Urobo people. Pure and simple. Is to inform, is to educate, is to provoke thoughts, and is to actually engage people, so that we can talk about issues as it affects Urobo, so that we can have discussions, so that we can engage with each other, so that at least we can say things out, get things out there for people to know. Information dissemination, that's what we are doing. And like I said, recently, we at Urobocast collaborated with urobo.uk, and that is a website for Urobo people as well. And the aim of that particular website, urobo.uk, is also to inform people, to inform the Urobo people as to what is going on in the UK, inside the community and outside the community. We're trying, we're actually working hard to bring contents out, to put things out there for Robo people to enjoy and to listen to, and to be able to think about certain things. There are loads of things that we just overlook. Our Robo people say that so because of that, we have decided to actually bring something for the Robo community. And that is what we have been doing. Now, let's go to what we're going to be doing today. But before we get into that, I would like to say that after the last episode, I actually promised that there was going to be a part 2 of the episode 4. Unfortunately, we decided not to bring that one out. That is because everything that needed to be said was said in that part 1. And, it's going to be then, repeating things and, because of that, we just decided to hold that one back. That is not to say that it's not be put out there. It's out there, but we're just holding it back, for now. But we're going to go into episode 5, and that is what we are doing right now. But before we go into that, I would like to give you a little story around what has been happening after the last episode into this one. After the last episode, I happened incidentally to meet a friend of mine at the Agbo Day that was held at the Ossens in Lewisham a couple of weeks ago. As we were discussing, we just thought that, why don't we do a podcast, And one of those things that we discussed was that of the Urobo School in the UK. We decided to discuss that because there are so many Urobos in the UK who don't know about it. That is one. We've got a few who know one or two things about the Urobo School but don't know what they need to do to get into it. Also, we have people who actually know about the Urobo School but they're not interested. One of the reasons why they're not interested, we think that is because they don't know exactly what goes on in the place. And as such, we're going to be discussing that with a friend of mine today. Another development that have taken place since the last episode is that my friend Mejiro Wejeya has decided to co-host UroboCast with me, which means that each time I'm interviewing someone, she's going to be there. And as I speak to you, Mejiro is in the house. Mejiro, hail people now.
I'm here. Hello, everybody.
Okay, good. Yes, so anyway, as I was saying, today's episode, which is the episode 5 of the podcast, is going to be talking about the Urobo School. And the person that is going to be discussing that with us today is no other than a brother of mine, a friend, Mr. Ekoho Orogun. He is part of the Urobo School team in the UK and is going to be telling us what everything is all about. So you people should have a listen. Ike Orogu, greet Urobo for us now. I'm sure you are delighted to be at UroboCast today.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here on those channels, and Major Wojaya, I'm really delighted to be on your program, and I'm happy to be invited to talk about Urobo School. So I'm all yours. I'm here for the community.
You may want to tell us a little bit about yourself, though, Mr. Ekoko.
Okay, so my name is Eko Worogu, and I hail from Agbokran. Both my parents are Agbo. My mom is from Ovu. My dad is from Okpara. And in the community, I have been involved more recently in a number of initiatives, whether within the immediate Agbo clan or the stuff that we're doing in Ovu, and also taking an active role in UPU and living through the challenges that we have lived through in the last 3 years. And I'm just another member of the community, another member of the Urobo community that wants to see the community come together, bond together, and for us to grow our community into something that is that people can come into and celebrate and enjoy and want to be part of, and to enjoy the beautiful color that Urobo brings to life as an Urobo person. So as an individual, I just like every one of us. We all work hard in this beautiful city of London. I work for TFL, and I have 3 beautiful children and a niece who stays with me, and they're all happy to be part of the Urobo community, and indeed to be Urobo themselves. And the children have actually been back home several times, and they enjoy everything Urobo land has to offer. Every time we go back, that's what we'll be doing in December. We'll go back to Sapele. They enjoy everything Sapele has to offer. They really bathe in the culture of Urobo.
And of course, you are happy to be in UroboCast tonight.
I am more than delighted. I'm more than happy to be here. I'm more than happy to be part of the whole wonderful program that you're bringing. And one of the things that I have always criticized us as a people for is not doing enough to bring content, modern day content. When I say content, I mean things that people can actually consume in trying to learn about Urobo. So we don't have enough written materials, we don't have enough production, but we don't have enough websites that talk about our culture. But what UroboCast is doing is beginning to build that bridge, beginning to fill that space. And this is something that others should be emulating. So we need more content. We need more initiatives like Urobo.uk. We need more activities being put out there for people to enjoy and learn about the culture and discover their heritage. So yes, I'm more than happy to be here, and I'm very honored to have been invited onto your platform today.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much for that introduction, Ekoho. We're glad to have you here, and we're very grateful that you've joined us today. Just as a start off, if you could just give me a brief history of Orobo School, how it came about, who started it, and where you're at today.
Wow. Okay. Orobo School is something that has always been around in the community. I think when you look back, different people have had Orobo School in the city of London and indeed many other cities across the world. The Orobo School that I'm involved in was a manifesto pledged by Chief Angus Omasoro, who is the president of UPU and one of the two UPUs that we have in the city. Angus had pledged to the community that he was going to put out an Orobo School that would benefit the community and ensure that people who really want to learn the language will be given the opportunity to do so. So that's how the school came about in 2014. I think it was around about this sort of time. I think it was this time into autumn of 2014 that Orobo School came into existence. Chief Eroina, who is the secretary of UPU, the secretary, national secretary of the UPU, was tasked with heading that operation. So he was, for all intents and purposes, he was the principal of Orobo School here in London. So that's how it came about. And during the course of 2014, right to the end, I enrolled as a student, as it happened. It took my 4 children along, and they all participated. But at that time, the school was finding its feet. It was really, really trying to establish itself, but it was well received. It was well attended. The participation level was quite high at the time, and we needed to very, very quickly organize ourselves. So as a student, I saw that there was an opportunity to get involved, to lend a hand, as we all should do in the community.
Yep.
And I became one of the assistant facilitators. I wasn't teaching at the time, but my children were students, and they were gaining and really enjoying the sessions that they were attending. Although it wasn't as frequent as they would have loved, but we then rolled that forward until the end of 2014. So which is when it then took a different dimension, which I'll talk about as the program progresses.
Okay, thank you very much. You were saying something about the fact that your Orobo School is one of the Orobo schools in the UK. Are there other ones that you know?
There are a few other Orobo schools. I know that I have heard. I've not actually participated in the other Orobo schools. There is. I've heard about one that the UPU that is led by Chief Ganiga did, and I'm not entirely sure to what extent that has actually taken hold. But therein lies the problem. If we're going to really, stand a fighting chance in making sure that members of our communities learn Orobo, then we're going to have to learn to collaborate. We're going to have to learn to work together so that people can really gain from being involved.
Yes.
Because if we don't collaborate, then we just find it twice as hard to bring the benefit to the community as we should.
Yeah, so instead of having scattered Orobo schools everywhere, we could just have say, okay, there's a UPU Orobo school here in Lewisham, for instance, another one in Croydon, and another one in North London, something like that. Everything under the umbrella of the UPU. Yeah. Okay.
As a joint effort, as I say to you, my children, I use my children as my barometer in these things. They have a good sense of what to expect. They didn't think that the sessions were enough. So if we collaborated more, if we all join efforts, then that situation will be easily addressed rather than leaving the task to individuals in a scattered way, in a way that doesn't meet the needs of the community.
Yeah. Anyway, well, I'm sure we'll come to that later on as things progresses. But there is something that I actually need to ask here, and that is, because a lot of people will be wondering why Urhobo School in diaspora, why Urhobo School in the UK, why would that, ever happen? Why would anybody think about that?
That is a very, very good question to ask. I'm sure that when you look around other communities that have actually settled in this city, do they have their own schools? The probability is that they don't. But for some reason, there's a genuine need for us to have Urhobo School. I think back to my childhood, in Maiduguri, sadly, which is a town that has been ravaged by Boko Haram. I grew up there. My formative years were spent there. I practically grew up as I was a child, and the language I first became comfortable with was Hausa, and what my dad did was to ensure that we never spoke Hausa in the house. It's okay when we're out there, when we're at school. When I'm doing my GCSE, as I did, my WAEC as I did, I did Hausa and I passed it. So that was perfectly okay. So long as when we were in the house, we spoke Urhobo, and that's how we were able to learn Urhobo. But those opportunities are very, very few and far between now. And as we have spread that into the world, into a modern day society that is driven by new realities, whether it's globalization, whether it's the information age, as some people describe it. It has made the language very, very. It's brought a lot of challenges to Urhobo and many other languages. So much so that many of the 6,700 languages that are spoken across the world are endangered, and Urhobo is one of those endangered languages. So we find that the father, the mother around the house is likely not to speak Urhobo to their child. The mother and father around the house is very, very likely not to speak Urhobo to each other. Yeah. So we need that Urhobo School to at least give additional resources, additional support, so that people can bring their child along, or they can come along as a family, because Urhobo School is a family affair. It's for all ages, and experience what the school has to offer. And they can take these experiences back home and talk about them at home, and enjoy what the culture has to. Can I just also say that Urhobo School isn't just about. Fundamentally, at the core of it is about the Urhobo language. Yes. But alongside the language, Urhobo School is also about giving that cultural enrichment. Giving people the opportunity to learn a thing or two about the culture, to learn about themselves, to learn about the different aspects of our culture and our tradition. And we held sessions, which I'll talk about later, which did just that. So it's about the language, but it's also about, giving that cultural awareness, that cultural enrichment.
So I really enjoyed the thought about, why do we have an Urhobo School? And I recognize that actually a lot of cultures do have schools. When I think about some of my Asian friends and some of my Chinese friends, they do go to school, but it's a very different type of school. It's almost it's a sort of supplement, in addition to what they learn already, what they already know at home. So we're kind of far behind a lot of communities. And I suppose at this point, I just want to, it's a bit harder for us as a Urhobo community because we have one school once a week or once a month that not only tries to do language, but it's also trying to do culture, because not only do people not speak the language, but they don't even understand the culture as well.
Yes.
You know, so
Yes.
it's a really, I mean, I applaud what you're trying to do because it's a really good thing, but there is a lot of work to do. So I suppose my next question is, what challenges do you face when you're trying to do the school, knowing that you have to cover, it's not just teach the language and that's enough. You know, it's more than that.
Yeah.
We have. I think you're right. You're very much spot on there. You know, a lot of these Asian cultures do have schools where they learn about. I went to this leisure centre, this community leisure centre one somewhere in East London, and there was a whole studio that was taken over by I don't know if they were Indian or Pakistani, but you can see they're from that region, and you can see the establishment there was teaching. They had the girls broken into a group where they were learning their cultural dance and moves, and the boys were probably between the ages of about 6 and 12. And the boys were downstairs, and they had men who were teaching them one or two things about whatever it was that they needed to learn about the culture. So you could see I wasn't close enough to hear the instructions that were being given. You can see that it was really about the culture, about the tradition. And so the challenges that we face as a community is, one, how do we focus on these positive things? How do we look at how we coordinate ourselves so that we can plan and execute these initiatives in a meaningful way without being distracted by other things? Even when you get rid of these distractions that we have had in our community, sort of seized our community for a considerable period now, we have practical challenges as well, such as resources, workbook, and teaching aid, and people being able to logistically get to the venues where we're delivering these sessions. If you're doing it on Saturday, we know how precious Saturday is for people. Very often, people are taking their children to Saturday Maths and English class. How do you bring these things together so you're not only teaching them about the culture, you're giving them that opportunity to also catch up on their Maths and English, so it becomes a more holistic, more rounded session for children who are of that age. So they learn the Maths and English, learn the culture, learn the language, be with their community, see positivity around them, and flourish within the community. So the challenges that I think we need to try and overcome is one of materials. So we need more books to be produced. We need more teaching aids to be developed. We need content such as UroboCast and such as the stuff that Urobo.uk is trying to do. Also, such as Urobo Cartoon Club is trying to do.
Yeah.
So more of these resources will give us materials to work with. Yeah. And that will begin to take one of the boxes of difficulties that we need to try and overcome.
Yeah, thank you very much. While you were, giving that breakdown, I was just thinking that, is he not a thing that, Urobos in the UK, one of the reasons why it becomes really, really difficult to speak the language is because of intermarriages, between Urobo people, which makes it really, really important that we not take the children to the school.
That too. I mean, that is when you marry when you consider that Urobo language has many dialects, and there is a general acceptance that the Agbaro dialect is the official dialect that Urobo puts forward. So a lot of our written material, a lot of our Urhobo literature will be in Agbaro. So if you're into marriage, okay, that creates if an Urhobo person marries an Okpa person, there is that as I have done, there is that slight variation in the language. So it becomes slightly discouraging to converse, to communicate in one language without making it to the detriment of the other. So the temptation is always there to revert to English or to Pidgin English, which doesn't help. But the more we do in Urhobo language, the more materials, the more movies are produced as they are now. If you do a Google or YouTube search for Urhobo movies, you will see quite a few coming up. So the more creative content we produce in Urhobo, I think the more people will be enticed to use the language. And if for any reason anyone is ashamed to speak the language, they will feel a little bit more confident in doing so. So when people hear the language, those who speak the language have a duty. As a matter of fact, those who speak the language have a duty to speak the language more around people who don't speak the language. Because what we're finding in trying to teach Urhobo is people are just not familiar with the sound. Okay, they hear it spoken very, very quickly in at events and ceremonies, but they never really, take the opportunity to really have it register in their mind how those words are being spoken, the way you hold you control your vocal projection, your tongue. I'll give an example now. Until now, we still find it difficult to get our students to make the distinction between the vowels. So the Urhobo alphabet has 7 vowels: A, E, E, O, U. So the R, which is A, E, which is E, A, E, E. The A and E, one E has a dot underneath it. So making that distinction between the 2 E's or the O with the second O with the dot is very, very difficult. So you have the O and the O, which gives the 7 consonants in the language. And to make things even harder as well, Urhobo operates with a number of double consonant situations. So you have the VW, the GBs, the KPs. So it becomes quite challenging for them to pick it up and sound them out in words and sentences. So the more we speak Urhobo casually, socially around people who don't speak the language, I think the better our chances for students of Urhobo to begin to hear this. As we said to our students, to listen to their parents and try to imitate or to mimic what their parents are saying as part of their learning experience.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand your argument of the difficulty of the Urhobo language, but there is no language that is not difficult. I've heard
absolutely, I agree.
I've got Portuguese coming here and say, well, the English language is really, really difficult. They struggle. And do you know that there's a particular country, is it Iceland or so, who don't have a W in their alphabets? So that tells
as it happens, Urhobo doesn't have a few letters in our alphabet. When we're all every day to school, there, as they say, so we don't have the letter C in the Urhobo alphabet. So you will only see C when it is accompanied with a H. So they operate together as a double consonant system. And we don't have the letter X
Yeah.
and we don't have the letter Q.
Yeah. We have a KW instead, I think.
We have KW instead. So we have KP, we have GB, we have BW, we have PH. These double consonants, and we have triple consonants. We have so. And it gets quite complicated quite quickly. So the best way to teach the language is through practice, through listening, through practicing, and through drama. Because I was speaking to this Argentinian lady, was telling her about the challenges that we have with our language, with our community. And so she said, you know what? The best way to learn language, she's a teacher as it happens, is through play and through drama, which is something that we want to try and do more of in Urhobo School. Recently at Agbode, we had a small drama play that some of the kids did for us. So and the experience that they gained from learning their lines was very, very powerful. It was easier for them to pick up on what they needed to say than if you had them in a classroom situation trying to teach them these things. It becomes quite hard. So drama and play is a good way to deliver learning.
But on the day with those kids at Agbode, they were brilliant though. They did it.
They were
very
absolutely amazing.
So so that tells us if you put your mind to it, then of course you're gonna learn one of
everything
those
is possible. It's such a shame they didn't actually finish it because they were applauding them before they got to the end. They were just about to get into the real. They hadn't finished, and people thought they had, and they started applauding. So they just
left.
Bring it down there. So
okay, shame.
But they had already done really well to the extent that they got the applause that they were getting. And there was a little bit more to come to really bring it home. But they did really well.
Yeah,
I'm quite proud of them.
Yeah, we were actually. I was actually going to go into some of those achievements. I'm sure the play and the thing that you just talked about now at Agbode it should be one of those things that you have achieved from this school. So just generally tell us some of those things that so that just to encourage people, because people out there, I'm sure they are interested, that they don't know how to actually come. You're going to tell us what you've achieved and ways for people to get involved, for families to come in.
Absolutely. So as I say, when the school started in 2014, we rolled it forward, and we had a lot of people coming forward and taking part. And then 2015, we stepped it up, and that is what the community should always aim to do, to actually build on something that we've put in place. That's what we did in 2015. So we produced an Urhobo workbook, which was well received in the community, and this workbook allowed people to see firsthand some of the key learning points for them. So it covered everything about the alphabet, as I was going through just now. It talked about double consonants. It gave some vocabularies that they could pick up on. And it spoke about, it teaches them how to count. Counting is always very, very important. And one of the most difficult figure for number for our students is 9. Number 9. They really struggle with 9 and Ire and Igwe. They cannot say Igwe. They say Igwe. So you can see the influences of Nollywood coming in there. So no, it's not Igwe. It's Igwe. And so they really struggle with Ire and Igwe. So the book has it, and then we also deal with some of the things that you need to know in everyday situation, like parts of your body and different animals, and it talks about different towns as well in the Urhobo Kingdom, so people need to know where they're from. It also deals with how to greet in Urhobo. Some of the things that we take for granted is people think, it's just Migwa Brendo, and there's more to Urhobo than Migwa. Just explaining the greeting situation. When do you say Migwa?
Yes.
Why do you say Brendo? What do these words actually mean?
Yeah.
What's the meaning? What's the meaning of Mavo or Magari? And those greeting situations is also picked up in the book. So that is something that we're quite proud of. Is that there? We need it's sold that quite quickly, so we need to produce some more because it's something that was well received. And we also speaking of achievement, we also created Urhobo school Facebook page. Yeah. So we'll encourage all your listeners to like us on Facebook. Yeah. So we put some of our materials on the Facebook so that the learning continues beyond just the Saturday schools. I say, the schools are just not frequent enough. We need more teachers, by the way. We need people to come forward and assist and give us that additional teaching resource. So we have a Facebook page which is called Urhobo School UPU UK. Yeah. So like us on Facebook, and it's there for you to pick up on one or two things. It's a good archive there. We video some of these sessions, so the videos are posted on Facebook. Okay. And we're trying really hard not to have random stuff posted on that page. It should really be only about learning the language, learning Urhobo, learning about the culture. If it's not something that's going to deliver a cultural learning experience, would discourage anyone posting things there, because it is a family page. Yeah. It's not somewhere where we discuss other matters or politics or anything like that. So
people posting prayers and all kinds of things.
Absolutely. I think we all need prayers, but
there are places for it. Yeah.
Where these prayers can be posted. Yeah, so I don't think that members of the site of the people that are on the page are don't know where to go to get these additional information. And also, there is a production that we made, which is on YouTube, which I'll encourage everyone to look at. Maybe we can link the two together. We can join this to the Urhobo.uk page as well, because it happens, it's actually the YouTube channel is called Urhobo UK. Yeah. So there's just one video that we posted on there that will encourage everyone to watch. It's a short video. It's about 14 minutes long. It teaches you how to tie the hair tie. Okay. And if you're a gentleman, how to tie the Urhobo wrapper in the proper way. So it's an instructional video. Wow. So if you want to tie your igele, if you're a woman, you want to tie a powerful igele, it's about 2 designs there. And if you're a man, you want to learn how to tie wrapper, there's a video there that takes you through the steps and stages of tying wrapper, which we think is quite good.
Yeah, because we don't want to have Urhobo people tying wrappers like Calabar people, No.
So,
and do you know? Yeah.
So I just
there's one more thing that we did that we're really, really proud of as well. During the Urhobo Day event of 2015, one of the things that Chief Angus Masoro was keen to have was some sort of graduation. So we need to mark a milestone. So we set an exam. An Urhobo exam for students to take, and they all took it, and they did really well. They all passed. You see, and they all graduated. So we have this experience of testing Urhobo learning and graduating people, which I think is really, really powerful. And
Wow.
quite enriching for those children that participated in it. The school is not just for children. I keep talking about children. We have a lot of young ladies. We have a couple of aunties.
Yeah.
When I say aunties, people in the we've got an auntie that's she's quite proficient in Yoruba. She speaks Yoruba quite well. But what she's missing is the written side of Yoruba.
Yeah.
So she comes along to pick up on the written Yoruba.
Yeah.
And then we have another auntie who just doesn't speak the language and she just wants to pick up on the language. So, so it's age neutral. We try to make it a family experience. So we welcome all ages.
So, just a question about, so if I decided, I'm going to join you, I'm going to come along. I'm conscious that you've been going since 2014. If I join now, where do I fit in? Do I, how will you cater for me joining in the middle? Because I take it you already cover the basics. Do you go back?
Yeah.
Or how will I be integrated into the group?
So what we tried to do initially was to have semesters. So if you came in and we start from the basics with you, you learn the alphabet, you then progress from there, and then people joining in halfway through. What we don't want to do is keep taking everyone back. But what we hadn't been able to do is really maintain a roll of program, a program of enrollment, and then seeing a batch of people through because, so we are being very, very flexible. So we try to accommodate newcomers. If we have to take you to one side and show you, give you previous material, and try to get you to try and keep up without having to take everyone back. Because that happened a lot in 2014. We kept on, as the news was spreading within the community, people were enrolling at different stages. So what we didn't want to do is turn them away, but at the same time, we had people who were there. So for them, they didn't mind going back because it was hard enough. So it was this they took it as a recap. But what we try to do is not take people, too far back, and we'll put an extra effort for newcomers. So you can join at any stage, and we will try to accommodate you, and provided you're committed to putting in extra effort to catch up with the rest.
When is it? How often are these? The lessons held and the time?
So there was one session yesterday, Saturday. The lessons are the first and the third Saturday of each month. So if you put on your diary, that is the case. And the lessons are held. I know when you introduced the session, you said it was All Saints in Lewisham. So that's Lewisham Borough. So it's All Saints Community Centre. It's All Saints Church in New Cross, SE14. And the sessions will start at 1 o'clock on the Saturday, first or third Saturday, and will run until 3 o'clock. Maybe we have the room until 4 o'clock. So if we have to keep going until 4, we have that the avenue. But essentially, the session runs from 1 to 3, which is 2 hours. And the idea is that when we have enough people, enough interest, we can then run a cultural awareness session for the final hour. So last year we did presentation of Kola, which went down really well. So people who wanted to learn how to Wagwari,
Yes,
yeah?
yes.
Yeah, brilliant. That's good to know. So people who Chief Ogujabo was there. He was quite heavily involved in that session, which was well received as well. So people we gave the background as to why we break the kola nuts and why we put the money down, and people had a practice session on how to Wagwari.
Okay.
So, so the idea is 2 hours to learn about, to pick up on the language, to practice, the conversational Urhobo. And then, by the way, what we're trying to teach people is just the basic Urhobo, just the straight Urhobo, just so that you know enough to build upon. So you're never going to be able to learn a language such as Urhobo in 2 hours, twice a month. So I think we give enough information for people to be able to read for themselves and practice for themselves by using resources on the internet and elsewhere. And then the final hour, as I say, we want to try to use to deliver the cultural awareness session.
Okay, thank you very much.
The best thing to do is find us on Facebook. If you can't find us on Facebook, then I'm more than happy for you to send me a text, and I will send you and I will put you on add you to the circulation list, and you'll be notified or reminded when the sessions are about to take place, which, as I said, is the first and the third Saturday of each month.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much, Ekoho. I mean, this has been an eye opener to quite a lot of people. I mean, we've actually gone far in this podcast of today, so we're going to try and see if we can just wind it down. But before we go, can you just give us a message? What message do you have for the Urhobos in the UK as far as that we have discussed are concerned?
Well, I suppose, my closing remark would be to remind my fellow Urhobo brothers and sisters that, we have a big task in our hands. We have a lot of work to do, and we really will stand no chance whatsoever if we do not cooperate, if we do not collaborate. Our language is endangered. Our culture is not being followed. If we're not careful, in the next generation or two, we're going to fall into a position that will be very, very difficult to recover from. So we really, really need to remind ourselves that we haven't done enough. Okay. So now is not the time to be wasting energy on things that are not creating,
not productive.
Not being, things that are not productive and not creating value. Now is the time to think smart, to act smart, and to cooperate. If we don't, then we will pay dearly with our language, with our culture, with our tradition.
That's an excellent point. I totally concur. I think that I agree with you. We spend a lot of time claiming to fight for Urhobo rights, but actually there is a culture that we're completely ignoring and the language that people are refusing to speak. But this is what makes us Urhobo people, and we need to sometimes go back to basics and find out actually who we are. Then we can then move forward in unity, in strength, and fight the correct, move forward correctly. So I endorse what you're saying.
Yeah, well, I quite agree with you, because the Urhobo language is not something that should be left to die, especially when, there is the agreement back in Nigeria that we are like the 5th largest ethnic group in Nigeria or something like that. Is it the 5th or the 6th?
We're the 5th. The Urhobo language is such a beautiful language. It's so poetic, and when you speak it, when we teach it, we say it rhymes. Yeah. Which is why the written form is very, very difficult to achieve. The language rhymes, it flows, it's poetic. So we really cannot afford to lose such a beautiful language. I think we have a lot of people. The truth of the matter is, I speak to a lot of people in the community that are passionate about the language. They want to protect the language. There's a few people that I can name here and now that really passionately want
Give
to...
us names. Give us names.
Yeah, if you look at Brother Shadrach Okpako, you look at William Didimaco, and these guys, or Chief Wujabo, or Chief Aaron, these guys are really passionate about the language. And there are others as well that I hear about that are really...
Of course, Urobocast. Urobocast.
Urobocast as well. And here we are, Urobocast, trying to put the message out there that the language is something that we should all try to protect. That we should, like Major, as you said just now, we should speak it. We should not shy away from using it whenever we have the opportunity. We're doing this session now in English. In English. I understand why. But we should try.
We are going to be speaking at the end of the day anyway. We're going to be speaking.
Yes.
Major, please be ready. Yes.
Now you're trying to mock me. No, but personally, I understand. For somebody who understands, and my mum only speaks Urhobo to me. She never speaks English to me. I should be speaking. But I think, Eko, and we've spoken about this. I suppose it's this. I feel a bit shy. I feel a bit embarrassed to speak it, and it's been easy for me to get away with it because, unfortunately, Urhobo people like to speak English. They do.
You know what? Can I make a confession online?
What's that?
This is a confession. Now, when I came to this country, it was a long time ago in 1989. I did not speak the language for about 15 years.
Wow.
I literally did not speak. I had no one to speak the language to. I literally did not speak the language, and I completely lost my confidence. It wasn't until I went back and started to get involved in the community through UPU, through Agbo, and more recently through Urhobo School, that slowly I started to regain my confidence. So it's more of a confidence thing. If you'd come to me 3-4 years ago, I would not have been able to string together a sentence in Urhobo with any shred of confidence.
Without adding English into it.
I would do, and I still do today. I don't think that my confidence is completely, unless it's me coming out and saying this in public, and I don't mind admitting to that because I know that before now my Urhobo was sound, but not having used it for such a long period of time, it became endangered, and that is the point that we're trying to make here. That if we don't use it, then we're going to lose it.
We are going to kickstart it tonight, Ekoko. Just give me a couple of minutes. My own story is a bit different, though. That is because I feel privileged that I come from a family where the English language is never used inside, our homes. And I have quite a large family. Now, when I came to the UK, we stayed exactly the same. Say, for instance, if I want to address my older sister, I speak Urhobo straight away. It's a spontaneous thing. It's not something that I have to think about. When I'm addressing my younger ones, it's the same thing. When I'm addressing my cousins, it's exactly the same thing as well. So it's just something that comes, and I'm very, very pleased that that happened. So I'm going to probably show a few of the skills that I've got in Urhobo as the team progresses. So Anya Barrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other day, not the other day, it was probably a couple of years ago, I was train station Hivergreen, this was, and I heard this guy talking to someone on the phone in Urhobo. I just felt so... He was loud, maybe a little bit louder than he needed to be, but I didn't mind because he was loud in Urhobo. I was so... I felt I couldn't go up because I had to board a train and he was waiting for another train. And I was so pleased to hear someone in the public using the language without any recourse, without any care, and that is what we need to do more and more of. We need to be proud of the language. We need to use it more, and we need to produce more stuff. And this is something that I personally I have a project right now that I'm working on that is doing exactly that. I know that Urobo.uk is doing just that. Urobo Catching Club is doing just that. We need more people. We need more.
Where's the
we need to flood the
young
social
Urobo
space.
musicians?
We need everything. It's such a shame that we lost Branama.
Yeah.
Branama was a game changer.
Yeah.
Branama changed the scene. She made young Urobo boys and girls proud to be Urobo. It's such a shame that she was wrenched away from us when she is one thing that's happened to Urobo that is so profound. In my project that I'm working on, she features in it, and I think we need more content such as that will really bring to make the language relevant and appropriate for the modern day information age for young people to associate with it. So more. We need more content.
Anyway, we're gonna be rounding up now. I just promised here that we're gonna be doing a little bit of Urobo. So I think what we should do is to probably tell the people how we greet in Urobo, and then just say one or two things or what happens in certain situations. When you see your older one and when your older one sees you, what do they do and all that in the Urobo way.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one of the sessions that we had recently at Urobo still was about how you greet, and first you say, okay, Diotoi Migwo, Diotoi, which means what is the meaning of Migwo? So Migwo is literally presenting yourself in a prostration manner with your knees. So it literally translates to my knees are to the ground. I'm kneeling down for you as a mark of respect. So Migwo, you say to someone who is older than you. Well, that is, when you say someone is older than you, it's not limited to by death. So, for instance, if it's how long someone has been within the family unit. That is how, so for instance, if I marry into, if someone marries into my family, so they're new to the family, so they are the youngest, therefore they say Migwo to me, even though they may be older than me. So you say Migwo to someone who's older, and generally you say it once in the morning when you see them. And then we say Rendo. Rendo means, please rise and thank you. So do is thank you, re is to rise, to instruct someone to stand about to rise. So it says rise and thank you.
There are times you have to Vrendo mame. Oma wena bogan.
Oma we garing. Oma is the body. Are you well? Gary, Oma we Gary. So are you well? Is your body okay? That's the literal translation. Oma we nabega. Are you very well?
Okay? Are you okay?
Are you very okay? Literally, the way you would translate that. And more recently, we would say mavo. So when we say the social norm is that people within your age bracket. So I would say between 5 years either side of you would normally class them as your peers or your social. You would generally greet them by saying "mavo," which is hi, or and that would usually. Sorry,
I say what's up. That's how I like it. Yeah.
So that's
Mavo.
That's what it is. It's like Mavo. What's up?
Yeah.
General hi.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi. What's up? Mavo. Or you say parting remarks. So someone is leaving, you can either say "You're a boomerang,"
Yeah.
Go there. told her, just good night.
Yeah.
Or see you tomorrow. I'm the Shefa. I'll see you later.
See you later, yeah.
I'm the Shefa.
I'm Lobo.
See you later.
I'm Lobo, which is the same thing as Shefa, yes.
Yeah. You're good with me.
Yeah,
you're with me.
Greetings.
Greet people at home when you get home. So that's those remarks you make when you're partying. And when you're greeting someone for having done a good job, you say things like Wakobunwia, Wakobiru. So well done, well done for good job. Or you can just simply say do. If you really want to show appreciation, then you say, Wakobiru. Yeah.
Or you can even say, you can even do both together. Do Wakobiru.
Do.
Do means thank you, and you've done well.
And then the general one that we all know is Wado, Urobo Wado.
That some people have translated to Urobo Wayo, isn't it?
So Wado generally means it's greeting a large group of people. So Wa. So W-A-Y is the plural.
Yeah, you.
It's the plural
all.
you.
Like
you all. Yeah. So wa, so do. So you all. Well done. So that's where the wa do is come from. Yeah.
Yeah.
So wa is plural of you. That's wa do for you. Come on, then. Which others can we think of? We're thinking of. Thinking on our feet now.
Yeah. There are a couple. Maybe we should just start speaking a little bit of Urobo to pick them one after the other, isn't it? And let's just remove a measurer from the whole setting so that it doesn't even understand what we are saying.
No, we need to be inclusive. That is probably,
anyway, but she understands anyway. She understands anyway.
Major understands. I don't think there's anything you would say in Urobo that Major would not understand. I think just Major is probably where I was a few years ago. I didn't have any confidence, and one thing that we should also be very, very mindful of is when people make mistakes. We
shouldn't laugh.
We shouldn't mock them. We shouldn't laugh them. We shouldn't deride them. We should just accept that. It's like when we speak English, we make mistakes all the time.
As a matter of fact, Major is going to give us some tonight, so
No.
I'm sure Major has been laughing at our English all day long.
Yeah, why? Yeah,
it's true. It's true.
Yeah,
she hasn't picked up on our English, has she? So we shouldn't really, So there we are.
Yeah, so Major, you want to be thinking about something you're going to say in Urobo because it's not going to be complete if you don't say one thing, though. Yeah?
Okay, I'll try, but I won't guarantee anything.
Okay, so Echoyo wa Urobo wanwanyo iweru nana iweru Urobo je ositi wejo bi koya wan wori irere oyibo woru na because wan segbe wole gbanu wanwanyo irere oyibo oyawa gbanu de choye
na be Jeff Yoto na be Yonemo na Jeff Omoma ko Emona the
adak vegesa Jeff unyofu ini gbese wa mbeto bodie ewere fovu ne odurobo do yon akwive nu re or was a je common Olo se ni. Onyore.
Other than you work, you know, hope. That Yoruba care, on a being you, but not future. But to pay a man, open a guy, you know, make us, we only make us say, yeah, you can't give me future, but on that way, you meant on that being you, but we are all durable.
Measure rock where
I'm not laughing at you, Robert. I'm enjoying the conversation because I agree with you 100%. People should be speaking, and the parents should speak it at home to encourage their children, and socially everybody should be speaking. So when I see you all next time, I expect you to speak Robert to me. I don't expect English to be spoken to me.
Okay, that's wonderful. But that is not to say you are not going to give us one tonight, though. So keep thinking.
You know, I can't think of anything. You know, it's a bit late now. I can't think of anything. You know,
okay.
You motivated me.
Okay. Urobo, that is where we're going to draw the curtain for tonight. You have all heard. You know, Mr. Urogu has said it all. About the Urobo School, you know, like we said at the beginning, we are here to inform, we are here to educate, to engage, and to provoke thoughts, you know, like we said. And I hope that you will get one or two things from this particular podcast as presented by myself and Mejiro Wejeya. And we want to give a big thank you to Mr. Ekuku Orogun. For coming on to this program tonight. And Ekuku, thank you very much for your time and for Robo people. So, Major, you have any other thing you want to say so we can
No, I just want to say thank you, Ekuku. It's been brilliant talking to you. You know, wish you all the best in the Robo School and your next project that you're doing for Robo people. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for having me, and I really enjoyed myself tonight.
Yeah, so that's it, Robo. Hopefully, we're gonna bring something else as time goes. We talked about getting involved in things that regards Robo. We said we're gonna bring so many contents to you. We're gonna be discussing marriages as is done in Robo. As we were discussing, we were talking about Inyera Guare just now. You know, these are things that happen in marriages. I think that is going to be the next one that we're going to be discussing. And those people who are going to do justice to this particular topic, Urobo and marriage, and how it is done, how it is conducted, will be brought to you in the coming episode. So, having done justice to this particular topic, I would like to reiterate or note that the Urobo School is free of charge. I mean, the enrollment into the Urobo School is free of charge. You will not be charged anything to come and enroll. So please try as much as possible to bring your family and take advantage of the services that is being rendered. Like Ekuku said, it is not just the language itself, but culture as well, the way of life of Urobo people, the sight and sound of Urobo. So please do, yourself a favor, do the children a favor, and enroll into the Urobo School. This is UroboCast episode 5. Thank you very much for listening. Have a blessed time.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
Bye.